I am joined here in the studio by Northwestern women's lacrosse coach Kelly Amonte Hiller, the now 9-time national champion head coach, the winningest women's lacrosse coach in NCAA championship history. Coach, how are you doing? How has it been these past few weeks, soaking in the excitement of your national championship victory a few weeks ago?
It's honestly been surreal. I just feel like I pinch myself. Did this really happen? And it's not just the winning. It's first off how we did it. You know, starting off our season with 3 losses, and then coming back and just running the table. You know, beating the #1 team in the country 3 times. That was really special. But probably the most special thing is being at home. Having the epic student section in the stands was really something that I've dreamed about my whole coaching career here at Northwestern. Would the people come out and support us? And the community and the student athletes and, you know, the professors and, you know, the administrators. It just was, there was so much purple in that building. It's honestly like, me and my husband, we just like talk about it every day. We're like, did this just really happen? Did this happen? It was the most unlikely comeback ever. And that moment I will remember for the rest of my life. I was saying that in the beginning of the game when they were doing the national anthem and then the rockets went off on the building, and I looked around and I saw the stadium full of purple, full of fans of the game. I just was like, this is something special. This is something special. And even if we don't win this game, I'm just so proud of this moment.
It was an incredible moment. I was there, just unbelievable, seeing all the purple. And of course, you've been at Northwestern for quite some time. If you were to tell, at the beginning of your Northwestern coaching journey, if you were to tell yourself about that moment and that, that stadium would be filled with over 8,000 people, most of them in purple, cheering on the Cats for that game, what do you think you would say if you told yourself that?
I would just say it's crazy. I mean, I started at Northwestern in the fall practicing on Long Field. That was my practice field, and balls were going into the street, hitting cars, blowing up alarms, and then we would play on a grass field that was the current location of the Kellogg Global Hub. Wow. And we had one small set of stands with probably maybe 25, 30 people all related to the student athletes in the particular game. And we didn't care. We just wanted to build something special here. And I give so much credit to my early teams for building this thing up over the years. And to have that moment where we were just fully embraced and fully supported, it makes me emotional because it's something I've dreamed of my whole career.
And I know, of course, it's something you've dreamed of, but it's something you've worked for as well. I mean, you've been a huge part in driving forward, not just, lacrosse, but women's sport as a whole on the college level. So from that perspective, when you think of all the work, what are some of the things that you feel that you did to put Northwestern in a position to, of course, be in the national championship and win a 9th one under your reign as the head coach, but to have that incredible crowd of people there in Evanston?
I think when I first got the job at Northwestern, there wasn't an incredible level of belief in what could be achieved here. And I saw the potential in this place. My interview, the morning of my interview, I went for a run on the lake. I saw how beautiful this campus is. I met people in academics, I met people in athletics that were just the most amazing people. And then just to see the wealth of knowledge and talent at this university, I was like, this place is this place is just filled with winners. We can do this here. And I think that, like, I was pretty young when I got the job, and I just really just didn't care what other people thought or said. And I just got my young group to believe that we could achieve at this most amazing university. And there's been so many great things done at this university, but we wanted to achieve great things in this little sport of women's lacrosse, and we did. And then it just started to like spread, and then you see, you know, softball going to the World Series, and you see football winning Big Ten championships, and you see, you know, field hockey winning national championships, and women's golf, and you know, wrestling winning individual championships. I mean, just to see the commitment that the university has made to athletics, and really wanting it not to be a sidebar, but it to be just as successful as, you know, the scientists or the artists or the news journalists are at this university. We can have it all. And we've shown on that great day on the lake that we can draw the purple and we can have it all. And I really hope this injects just great pride and great hope for the future of every part of Northwestern University.
A huge win for Northwestern that day, of course, and maybe even a bigger win for the sport of lacrosse. You talked about it in your post-game presser, but just looking out and seeing all the young faces, the kids getting excited about this sport in the Midwest. First time that the championship was held in this time zone and anything other than the Eastern time zone. Now, I'm from Maryland. I understand how big lacrosse is out there, but it's growing. Where do you see this sport going after seeing the incredible scenes in Evanston a few weeks ago?
Absolutely. I think it was a big message to, you know, our sport and the lacrosse community. There was a document put out earlier in the year that, you know, they wanted to have the lacrosse Final Four or the lacrosse championship weekend at a lacrosse-centric location. And I said that to our athletic director, Mark Jackson, and some of the people that work within athletics. I was like, we gotta prove that we are a lacrosse-centric location and that we can put on an incredible championship, you know, whether we're in it or whether we're not in it, whether we win it, whether we don't win it. That was really the goal. And I just am so grateful for all the people in athletics and at the university that got behind it. And even just building that stadium, I know it was originally for football, but there's been so many great things that have happened in that stadium by the lake, and just to see how that's come to fruition and how that's brought so much, you know, great positivity to this university. I'm excited for that.
And now talking about the season itself, you mentioned it, but this was one with a lot of adversity. You know, March 15th, you guys sit with 3 losses. After that date, no more losses, undefeated, in a national championship. What was it about this group that allowed them to have that fight after having some very tough losses in the beginning part of the season?
Yeah, I think initially, you know, we were really putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. Even I didn't think that I was because of us hosting the Final Four, but I really truly was underneath the surface. And I think, you know, when we lost the first game against Colorado, it was like, all right, you know, we lost the game. They were a great team. We had traveled 2 days before. That was a challenge, but we're good. Then we lost to Syracuse. Okay, they're having a good season so far. They're on the rise, great program. And then we lost a third game to Ohio State, a conference foe, which those conference games are so, so important. And it was like, okay, like we need to stop making excuses for ourselves and start really looking in the mirror and start believing in what our culture is and what it takes to be successful. We've done it before, we have it very outlined, and I think we were talking like we were buying into it, but we really had to buy into it. So our 2 theme songs, our one theme song has always been Don't Stop Believing, but our second theme song for this season became Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. And we just had to take a hard look in the mirror. Like, what changes are we going to make? How are we going to lead through this? How are we going to love each other even though we've hit the adversity? And how are we going to let that adversity be something that builds us rather than something that breaks us? And we did that, and just little by little, we built it back up.
And all of that starts with a coach, of course, but players are huge in instilling that belief and instilling that mentality into a team. Who are some players this season that stepped up as leaders and helped you in instilling that belief in the rest of the team?
Absolutely. I think first off and foremost is our senior class. They had to really think long and hard about how they wanted to lead through this, and we talked and really said, like, this is your responsibility, and how we go from here, regardless of our record, regardless of what we do going forward, we want to have a great experience, and you're going to be the people that create that. And then in addition to that, I think we really tapped into our fifth years. Some of the transfers. We had one fifth year that had been through it and been with us her whole career. And then those transfer students, I think they were reluctant to lead because, they didn't want to step on other people's toes. They wanted to respect our culture and the seniors that had been here, the fifth year that had been here. And I think we all just came together and said, like, no, it's going to take everyone. It's not going to take, one or two people or people that have been in the program. It's going to take everyone in order for us to get through this. And we can do this. We can do this together. And everyone took a responsibility, even the first years, And
you talk about the first years. Of course, now it's already starting to look towards next year. And there's a lot of exciting pieces coming back, one of which, of course, Gabriella McAllister having the game of her life in the national championship. Tell me some players you're excited about for next year and just what this offseason is going to look like for you as, I know you just got number 9, but I'm sure you're already looking at number 10.
Absolutely. I think that my dad always used to say, it's like right after the championship, all right, we got to start working on the next one. And I think that for me has evolved into let's help our players develop, right? Our first years, they saw a lot of growth, even if it didn't come to fruition for playing time, right off the bat, or, they're going to have to go home. They're going to have to really think about what they need to work on, and the same thing with those sophomore players that are now going to be part of the upper class group. And then, the group of juniors that's now going to be seniors, and we have Jalen coming back too. She has that injury year, so there's a lot of pieces together. And just like last year, it's not going to be like one or two people that we rely on. We're going to have to rely on the collective, and it's going to be our collective responsibility to obviously enjoy this moment of this championship, and then, okay, what did we learn from this championship? What did we learn from this season? How are we going to grow into next year?
And I can't leave this without talking about Madison Taylor, of course, who a week ago today was named the Tewaaraton winner. You were there in D.C. for the ceremony. Tell me about that moment for her and just what she has meant to you and the program over these past 4 years.
Yeah, I think the depth of talent in lacrosse is crazy. Is crazy, and I think that Madison being there for 3 years, she could have easily been the Tewaaraton all 3 of those years. So I think that just speaks to how good lacrosse is getting. Honestly, for me, going to that ceremony, seeing those 5 women and seeing how powerful they were, but also a special part of it, I had coached a few of them on the USA team, and also to see 2 military institutions bring people to the final 5 top players, that's another moment for our sport. And I was just really proud to be sitting in that chair, regardless of Madison winning it or not. And the fact that she did win it, obviously, capped off one of the greatest senior seasons of her career. And it probably started the rockiest of any of her years. And I think she learned the most this year that she learned. She became the strongest individual. And I'm just really excited for her because her lacrosse days are not over. I think her hope is to continue to be on the U.S. national team, to make that Olympic team in 2028, and to continue to play professionally in the WLL. So lots of exciting things for her. And the players that we're losing, they were some really, really special people. And they're still going to impact us and our program. And the mark that they left it better than they started.
And Coach, my final question, this season was historic. Your 9th national championship, Northwestern getting to host, so many unbelievable moments, so many close games that could have gone either way, that Northwestern came out on top. But when you wrap it all together, what is one word that you will remember this season by?
Oh, that's hard to say with one word. I think that probably the biggest word for us this year was love, and love through those hard moments, love each other. And I think Maddie said it at the end of the game, in her interview, to see Lucy go down in that first quarter and just see how everyone really rallied for her, rallied in that moment. I just think that speaks to the love that we created together and the love that hopefully will be eternal for this group.
Love, the word of the season for Northwestern women's lacrosse. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here in the studio today. Back to you guys.
Go Cats.